Another one of the players that we call solid in Ian White, been around a few years. Lost in the final of the News of the World that we run. It was at Aston Villa Football Club many, many years ago.
Yeah, not a particularly spectacular performance from Whitlock yesterday, but did more than enough to get through against Mike Dedeker, 6-2.
First leg, Simon to throw first.
You know, sometimes, Chris, I mean, we talk about it all the time. We do emphasise and probably overreact with regard to averages, especially first rounds. It is just winning that game, getting over the first hurdle.
83.
And sometimes, you know, perhaps you should only look at your winning leg average, because that gives you some idea of, you know, if you won a game and your 6 winning leg average are about 104, 105, then you know that you're playing well.
Whitlock follows the first start perfectly. And there's the first maximum. Didn't hit one yesterday. So that'll settle him nicely.
Number 75 of the tournament. We're only in the middle of the second afternoon.
45.
Ian White changed dart manufacturer. So he'll be getting used to some new missiles.
78.
He's the seeded player of the two.
84.
Yeah, I was talking to Ian earlier on, and
60.
And he lost to young Dimitri in the World Championships, and you know, he was devastated. You know, he's so
60.
wanted to put in a great performance, because, you know, to be quite honest, you know, he was number 10 in the world at the time, and it was a Premier League place perhaps if he'd had a good run. But sometimes you're thinking of the Premier League instead of
85.
you know, playing what's at hand. You know, play the match you're on. Don't worry about the future. The future can ruin the present.
Well, we saw Kim Hybrex, Ian White and
60.
Simon Whitlock, probably all potential Premier League candidates, go out in the first round of that tournament.
That's right. Whether the Premier League had any emphasis on that, on their performance, maybe not, but
So I mean, you require 40.
it's a tough school. Double shot for the first leg for Simon Whitlock.
Second leg, Ian.
Tidy 16 dart leg, but Ian White would look at that and think, well, after 15 I should be looking at a double.
Whitlock used to be a Premier League regular.
97.
Dropped a couple of years ago after being eliminated. Former finalist, hit a 9-dart finish in the semi-finals. And that's a start. Potential 9-dart finish here.
Well, there's nothing we'd like more to see Simon Whitlock back at his best. And that goes for any player, to be quite honest. But when we're talking about overseas players, it does have a bit more emphasis on, you know, the TV rights that we sell, especially down in Australia. It's growing great down there at the moment. Well, there's number 4. Come on, Simon. Don't let us down. Come on, you can't miss that. We can hit that from here, Chris. He's just moved.
140.
Yeah, there was a long delay before that dart landed. Maybe just put him out of his stride a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes Whitlock, when he's got darts in the treble, you think they look great.
99.
But it's actually the flights he's looking at, and that's why he moves to the left or the right, because the V of the flight, he's not in a good position. 70, 111. He may go for a 25.
95.
Yeah, guarantees him a dart at the bullseye, or should do.
Yeah, against a throw leave 86 after 9 darts. Good position for Whitlock, but White looking to stay up top with a 180 of his own, and he gets that.
Brilliant setup from Ian White. That really has put the pressure on here. Whitlock treble 18. Always hit the treble 18. 2 darts at double 16. That's a wild one. Oh, but he's hit the double 8. A 12 dart leg from Simon Whitlock breaks the throw of Ian White.
Third leg, Simon
Takes him into a 2-0 lead.
Game on.
Good start from the Wizard. As White put the pressure on in that leg with the maximum. Yeah, Whitlock last met Ian White at the World Match Play last year. Led 9-6 ended up surrendering that lead. Ian White went through, winning the last 7 legs in a row. And went on to give
60.
Michael Van Gerwen a real good run in the quarter-final.
Yes, when you say, you know, someone's rolled off 7 legs against Simon Whitlock, and, you know, against, as Chisnell did against Robert Thornton when he was 8-0 up, you find it hard to believe that can happen with
100.
these players as good as they are, but it does happen. They lose focus and lose their rhythm.
$140.
Well, extra focus for Simon Whitlock with his new look. I mean, he did speak about the glasses yesterday. He was having a little bit of trouble looking down at, say, the treble 19 section of the ball. He said the rim of the glasses was in his way, so he had to kind of peer over them. So when he gets back, it's a trip to Specsavers, some bigger glasses or ones without the frame.
Well, like a Dennis Taylor did in snooker, if you remember.
121.
Had the glasses enlarged because when he got down on the table, as he looked up, all he could see was the rim, so he had them made twice the size, and perhaps that's what Simon's got to do.
140.
Normally the problem when you start wearing glasses is when you're standing there, that's fine, but when you move towards the board, I know it happened to Dennis Priestley, he kind of was going light-headed because, you know, he couldn't focus properly.
100. Simon, you require 104.
For the Wizard, starting at the treble 20. Maybe not, he went for the treble 18.
50.
Just to make me look silly.
And you require
Well, an
80.
important check-out here and an important time in the match for Ian White. He needs to find it. He's going to have to move to the left. He's covered up the right-hand side of that double top.
60.
Oh, it's just on the bottom wire.
Simon, you require
Whitlock
54.
come back to the board. 3 legs to nil. This will give him.
From 14 for tops. Pins it with the second attempt. Simon Whitlock races into a 3-0 lead.
Game on.
Ian White, the seed of the two players, but Whitlock looking the most comfortable and confident.
Yeah, the second leg hurt
140.
Ian White when he hits a 180 to leave 40, and Simon Whitlock checks it out. And that really hurt. It's to lose his throw as well.
140.
But Whitlock looks as comfortable and as confident as I've seen him for quite a while, Chris. And you know him quite well from working alongside him a bit.
Yeah, his attitude is
140.
that he's basically on a free roll for the next couple of years, and that's an opportunity for a player as good as Simon Whitlock to get back to where he feels he should be, which is one of the best darts players in the world.
100.
Yes, when you're defending, you know, ranking points at every tournament, it does become hard, especially when you start to have a dip in form, and then, of course, that extra pressure of the rankings. But when you've gone through
100.
that, and you come into a year like this where Simon's not defending too much, then it works the other way. You know, you start to play well, and you start to move up the rankings, and of course the confidence spiral goes up instead of down.
91.
Yeah, he's faced a couple of
Here we
first-round
go,
exits at the World
121.
Championships. The year before that, he beat Ian White in the quarter-finals as he reached the semis. Fantastic game. Simon won 5-4.
$81. Simon, you require 170.
He used to be renowned for these finishes. Not a bad start. It's on. Simon Whitlock looking at the ball.
145.
Not far away either.
And you require 40.
A sigh of relief from Ian White there, but now he's got to pin the double top, which he does.
Full flag, Ian White.
Just holds
Flag
on to his
Simon
throw,
to
so there's
throw
still a
first.
lot of work to be
Game
done
on.
for White. And you're right, Chris, that was the Whitlock of old. When he first came over to the PDC, the one thing that everybody noticed is how many ton-plus checkouts he used to take out.
140.
And I don't mean just the 104s and 103s like James Wade's, great at. I mean the 133s, the 150s. I mean, he was doing it all the time.
Averaging well over 100, Simon.
That's a very good performance.
White also above the ton mark. So Simon's upped his game when he's needed to.
100.
Yeah, had two 170 finishes in the same match last weekend against young Berry Van Peer in Wigan.
As Kevin Painter would say, how's your luck on that one?
100.
Got to a semi-final last weekend, so in fantastic shape for the UK Open. Lost to Michael van Gerwen.
57.
Simon missed darts at a double and van Gerwen pinned 1-4-1.
That's why he's the world number one.
140.
Van Gerwen joins the party tonight against John Henderson as Whitlock looks for another maximum.
100.
Brilliant setup from Simon Whitlock,
Yeah, you require 140.
leaving Ian White needing to take this out.
And does. Absolutely brilliant darts from both players.
Ian White.
I mean, Whitlock didn't do anything wrong
Six
there.
leg in to throw first.
Put huge amounts of pressure on Ian White. And the 140. Class darts from White. And now he's got one throw back. He's still going to have to break Whitlock again because he lost the bullseye.
42.
Yeah, Whitlock fired in his third 180, left 24.
It was a bit like White in the second leg, wasn't it? He hit a maximum to leave 40 and Whitlock took it out. Not quite as big as the 140, but just as impressive.
Proper game this. You didn't have the pleasure of commentating on the last one. As White builds it up this time.
190.
Yes, I think the young man Rodriguez got embroiled into getting frustrated and chucking darts away, which you should never do. Always think that your opponent's going to miss. You keep focused all the time. It is part of playing Mensah. He is slow, that's his routine.
140.
Can't imagine either of these two players throwing darts away. Whitlock and White, two steely competitors.
59. Ian, you require 139.
140 in the last leg. Won't be getting the 139, but just wants to tee it up.
99.
And we'll come back for tops.
140. Ian, you require 40.
To level it up at 3 legs apiece. Double shot first up in the corner,
7 leg Simon,
but still counts.
Throw first. Game on.
Whitlock now needs to put in a strong leg on his throw. Just stop that run of Ian White, and that helps. Another leg, he kicks off with a maximum. Hit 5 trebles in a previous leg.
Well, that's maximum number 4 for Whitlock. White's got 2. Well, that's as good as having 3. Both players with perfect darts at the start of this leg. Now we're going to see how mentally strong Simon Whitlock is, because when you've surrendered a big lead to a player like he has against Ian White, and he's been 3-0 up in this match, it's gonna just jump in your head when you don't want it to.
Yes, you're exactly right. And with what's gone on with Simon over the last 18 months, perhaps,
98.
he doesn't want to see himself go down. So a strong leg here, and you can see it wasn't as if Simon give those legs away. 13, 12, 13. I mean, that's incredible.
99.
That's 7 under par, as we would call it, from level 15s, which is exceptional.
Yep, he was also on the wrong end of a great escape against Ricky Evans in the World Championship.
59. Simon, you require 122.
But he's got the chance to edge back in front now. Great start. Looking at the bullseye now.
No, he's going big 18.
90.
Yes, he's gone big 18.
Ian, you require 167.
Laid the gauntlet down to Ian White to say, I don't think you can take this out. However, this would really hurt. Never give your opponent a chance.
32.
Well, Whitlock, his heart must have sunk when he saw the first 2 darts go in the trebles, but he does return for double 16 and gets it.
And a 7 flag. Simon Whitlock.
Edges back in front.
A flag in to
Played a dangerous game there, Simon Whitlock.
Game on.
He did. We see Phil Taylor do it against Michael van Gerwen and paid a price. And as we mentioned so often, the 138, Eric Bristow in the World Championship 83 final
81.
against Keith Deller. Refused to go for the bullseye.
And just look at those averages. 107 Ian White, 104 Simon Whitlock.
Yes, and what that suggests is that most of the power scoring is coming at the back end of the legs. The setting up, we've seen quite a few 180s to leave doubles from both players. And that's where all the scoring, all the big bulk of the scoring is coming in the last 6 darts. Especially for White, big score, the 140 out.
In some deadly doubling as well. White 60%, Simon in half of his double attempts.
100.
White's 140, the highest finish.
123.
And now looking to leave himself handy in this leg.
60.
Opportunity knocks for Simon Whitlock now.
$133.
Yes, that's good switching. That's good thinking, good counting from Simon Whitlock. Goes down for the 7/19s to leave the straight 100.
45.
And no pressure from Ian White, so
100.
if we see him hit the 20 and it's low, I think we'll be looking at 2 double tops. Well, he only needs 1 double top. Perfect guide, hit the flights, this is in.
Game shot in the A flag. Simon Whitlock.
100 checkout from Simon Whitlock. Huge leg for the Wizard because he's now rowing for the match.
Yeah, it's a good performance, Chris, because, you know, he sped into a lead 3-0, and then Ian White 13-12-13, and that was when Simon had to step up to the plate, otherwise White could have been the one running away with it, but he threw in a good leg there and stopped the rot, and now on the verge of a match planned on Sunday.
Well, he's in a little section of the draw which could be a lot worse.
83.
If he gets through this, he will play the winner of Yellow Classing against Kevin Painter. And the top seed in that part of the draw is Michael Smith, who plays Gerwin Price.
96.
And also Mensur Suljevic, who's through. So Whitlock, or White if he comes back, would fancy the chances of a real good run to perhaps the semi-finals at least.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
26.
Some players say they never look at the draw. It's an absolute lie. Of course they do. And just never let it affect the game you're playing, but certainly beforehand.
96.
He's had a good time of it on the European Tour, Simon Whitlock. Won the first Dutch Darts Masters back in 2012.
100.
In an all-Australian final against Paul Nicholson. European champion, of course, that year as well. And showing
97.
that kind of form here, which we haven't seen from Whitlock for quite some time. And wouldn't it just be fitting if he finished with a flourish and his favourite 170 checkout?
140.
Well, if he hits the 2 treble 20s, he'll definitely go for it.
170.
especially with White on 152, but you know what? He'll settle for just setting it up, hitting one treble. He fails to do, so it does open up the door. Ian White's already had a 140. Oh, he's online for the 152 as well. Especially now, double 16.
120. Simon, you require 112.
Whitlock will want to get the job done here. 112. 3 darts in his hand. Does not want to be coming back to the board.
Well, that's handy, 97. Well, he's failed to hit the treble 19.
52. And you require 32.
So White to stay alive, double 16. Right in the middle.
The 9th leg, Ian White.
And just trying to plant a seed of doubt in Simon Whitlock's head.
Game on.
I think Simon will be disappointed with that leg, Chris. I mean, he's been playing so well, and yet he threw 18 darts there and never finished the leg off.
180.
And White starting with a maximum, looking likely to force a decider
60.
in this one. A few years ago, the crowd only used to boo when a player missed a double for the 9 dart, and now they boo if he doesn't get the 4th treble.
140.
Yes, the expectation is huge. We expect those 9 darters to come all the time. Only won in the World Championships by Gary Anderson, and I expected at least a hat-trick.
100.
Yep, not seen one in the Premier League for some time. In fact, Simon Whitlock is the last player to hit one in that tournament. Incredible, really.
100.
Yes, 129 legs of darts were played last year without the 9 dart. I predict about 850 legs this year. And surely we'll have a 9 dart leg.
Didn't need to go down to treble 17 there.
129.
Sensibly sets up double 16. All Whitlock can do is try and apply some pressure. And that's a hell of a lot of pressure.
165.
It certainly is.
And you require 32.
To level it up and take us to a decider. Oh, now double 9. Well, that's a big miss. It's double 9. It's not the best double on the dartboard. And that's why. What a mistake from
24.
Ian White.
Well, 165 from Whitlock
36.
has given him a shot at 36 for the match. Whitlock needs double 18. Simon Whitlock sends Ian White out of the Dutch Darts Masters. Fabulous game of darts, fabulous performance. It's the wizard who goes through. He'll be back on Sunday. We'll hear a few words from Whitlock in a moment. But next up today, Dave Chisnell.